Yeah, interesting with color, it's either lack of color. We're seeing a lot of white, white on white, or white mixed back to black, and of course pink on every runway. Designers are loving the idea of pink, from the most pale blush to the most hot, shocking pink. A lot of Jordan almond color shades too, of yellows and mint. A lot of mint aqua on every runway. Lavenders, very pretty candy colors. But interesting, there's an entire group of designers who are loving the idea of fall for spring. And we saw that at Givenchy, we saw that at Celine, we saw it early in New York at Proenza Schouler. The idea of a deep Loden green, a sienna, even the idea of copper and beautiful tobacco shades. So really twisting the seasons and taking a very autumnal color palette and proposing it for the spring season. Of course, lace and transparency on every runway. And interesting, when we were in New York and London, a little bit of Milan, a play with the 1990s. Purity and a bit of minimalism, so design details come through in seaming and something a little bit more sculptural and architectural. As we've gotten here to Paris, we're seeing a bit of a movement towards something African and a bit tribal. We saw it yesterday at Celine, where Phoebe Philo actually took a bit of a Picasso approach with a very artistic idea of big brush strokes, and many times even played on top of a newsprint pattern looking like Picasso, reminding me of when Picasso was looking at Cubism and experiencing the idea of African art. So I love that very subtle play of African and Cubism together, but not looking like national costume. There was a real modernity to it. How she played big brushstroke tunics back to a plissé or a pleated skirt. Of course, pleats on every runway. If you don't have a pleated skirt when you go into the spring season, you need to stay home. And then also at Givenchy last night, a bit of a tribal emphasis as well. Again, that almost an autumnal color palette, but an interesting African approach, but in a very subtle sort of way. So it's not about a costume, but it's taking the high points of another culture and something very multicultural, but giving it a very modern spin.